Hey guys, Faze here from FazeFitness.co.uk. I'm here with another film study. This time it's going to be on a man who was featured in my book Forgotten Legends of the Ring, none other than the great Archie Moore. Archie Moore in this fight, I'll just name his opponent, you see here, is Jimmy Bivins. Before going about Archie Moore, I will say his opponent here is a Hall of Fame fighter. Jimmy Bivins was a great fighter. I believe his nickname was the Cleveland Spider-Man, if I'm not mistaken. Bivins campaigned mostly at light heavyweight and heavyweight. He was a great boxer, he fought some great fighters. He fought guys such as Charlie Burley, Lloyd Marshall, Joe Louis, Jersey Joe Walcott, Archie Moore, Izzard Charles, Joey Maxim, Curtis Shepard, and the list goes on. There's Harold Johnson. There's so many great fighters who Jimmy Bivins fought. He actually has one of the best resumes I've ever seen. In a 112 fight career, he fought them all, and he fought them multiple times. Okay, so the first thing we'll notice with Archie Moore is, of course, what he's most known for, the famous cross-arm guard. Now, Moore would be in a few positions, and we can see here the cross-arm, but when he gets back to his base guard, just saw there as well, he leaves his backhand out to catch the jab, as opposed to here under the chin to catch the jab. He would keep it here to catch the jab. And of course, as well, we see his lead hand is actually below the waist often. So he's in this position. It's not like here, which is some more old school fighters that use the shoulder roll. Archie Moore would be in this position, the hand low, very low. Now, when he wanted to crab up in that cross arm guard, he would simply bring his right hand almost over that left bicep. You tuck that head in as well, keep that chin down, tuck it in so he couldn't really get to him. And the lead hand would be low. Would have also meant at times he would be in this position, but if you try to throw a left hook to the body, he would be able to block it with his lead hand low. Okay, something interesting to notice about Archie Moore is that as part of his defence, Archie Moore could block every shot with his backhand. He could catch that jab, whether he had it out here or he did decide to put it generally out here. He can block that jab with his backhand. He could use that cross arm, using that backhand again to catch that right hand, your right hand, using his right hand. He can also shield your hook using his backhand. It's very interesting how he could use his backhand to defend against any shot. Of course, he would also use his lead hand at times as well. He was a versatile fighter, but generally used his backhand to block a lot of those shots. Now again, of course, left his lead hand free to throw that lead hook and come up with that up jab as well from a low down position. You can see there, he's not really using his lead hand to block, he's using his backhand. And then again from that position, with that backhand here to catch, he can easily just snap out his right hand. And there again we see. Now of course, with that lead hand low and that right hand in this position, outside here, it would put Moore in perfect position to counter with his backhand. So we'll see there, Moore sticking the uppercut, and he gives him a knockout. He knocks Bivins down and he's out for the count when he retired in and around. Okay, so what we can see there as well is with Moore in this position in here, he could roll a shot, come back with an uppercut. We can roll a shot and come back with his cross. He could also do it from this position. So Moore would often be in this position, and from here, when he blocks a shot, he would simply come up with that uppercut. Okay, so you can see from that position, Archie Moore could also counter with his backhand from that guard position. And counter with the right cross as we saw there. Okay, let's just look at more of Archie Moore in that cross arm position. Important distinction we just saw there. Okay, so if you're using the shoulder roll, for example, a great defensive guard, with the shoulder roll, when you block that hook, you've got a few options. You can block that hook, you can reset back into position just in case you get a right hand behind it. Or you can block that hook, maybe you can roll, or you can block that hook, maybe you can smother. In the cross arm, Archie Moore solved that issue just using that same cross arm guard. So Moore could block that hook, keeping his head down, his chin tucked in, that right hand over the left arm. He just changed his body position, and then if any shot came behind it, in that same position, he could block it. So he could block the hook just by simply moving the hips. He could block the shot behind it. An important distinction between the shoulder roll and the cross arm guard. Of course, Moore used more of the cross arm. That's an important difference I've seen using the cross arm guard as compared to other guards, is the ability to block the right hand after the left hook without really changing your position. Just a slight swivel of the hips and Moore was in position to block the right hand behind that hook. Now the cross arm guard, some people do say his weakness is body shots. Again, you see Archie Moore fight, how he covered body shots. Perhaps there was a weakness to the right hook to the body, but I don't recall Moore having any problems with it there. You can see from Moore's style that the key to it was moving at the hips with that stance. So Moore would block shots and still move around to enable to block those body shots behind it. And you see there, he'd also throw in his head movement. Okay guys, so that's the quick film study of the great Archie Moore. Hope you took something from that. And if you haven't already, I'll leave a link below for the film study I did of the greatest of them all when it comes to boxing, Sugar Ray Robinson. But Archie Moore, also in my opinion, one of the greatest fighters we've ever seen. He has to be in the top 10 of all time, maybe even the top 5. He was that good. So I hope you enjoyed that one, guys.